Shemai everyone, it's JonnyVR here back with Doctor Who reviews, and if you've made it through the season 1 double bill premiere at midnight, congratulations to you, and do let me know if you stayed up to watch in the comments down below. And if you're joining from Disney Plus all over the world for the premiere of Doctor Who on Disney Plus, welcome to the show. Do let me know what you thought of these episodes down below, and hope to see you along this series of reviews as I go through each of the episodes as they air. And let me know your thoughts, and let's have a discussion of the episodes on. So sit back, have yourself a jelly baby, and let's get into the episode. So as always, I'm going to do a spoiler-free version of episode 1, which is Space Babies, and then when I start going into more of the plot of the episode, I will give you your spoiler warning. So if you're waking up, having your breakfast, and catching up on the Doctor Who that was just released at midnight, do leave a comment down below to let me know what you think. So, Space Babies, how does that live up to the to the expectations, or with an episode title like Space Babies? I think for this one I was surprised. I think there was some good comedy throughout the episode. I thought that the villain, like, everyone knew there was going to be this villain come in, or this creature again. It's an interesting idea. I think the biggest thing that I have with this episode is that there's a lot of context for new viewers. So, like, as someone who's watched the show for ages, a lot of what is said feels like a repeat almost, as you've got new companion, new doctor, things like that. So a lot of the stuff is almost word for word sometimes taken from previous episodes, where you get a new companion and things like that. But the pace at which they do it in this episode to fit inside the whole Space Babies storyline as well is quite jarring, I thought, in the first 10-12 minutes. So let me know what you guys thought. So especially if you haven't seen the show, let me know if you thought, like, the opening sort of sequence, the opening 10 minutes, kind of before they actually meet the said Space Babies, whether you think that it was also, like, super fast paced, a lot of information all at once, because I thought that was only because I was aware of all this stuff already, that I was able to kind of, like, just take it as it comes, and I thought that the pacing of the story kind of slowed down when the Space Babies were revealed, and then you could go for the actual sort of story of the episode then. So I think that the start of the episode was very fast paced with regards to information drop. And also, I thought that was interesting because a lot of this stuff that's said for the new watchers could have been said in the Church for Ruby Road. But I realized that Church and Ruby Road doesn't have a lot of time in that episode to go through all of the basics or stuff like that. But I really enjoyed Ruby Road. But as a consequence of that, we get a lot of information drop at the beginning of this episode, just the basics. But as you get to the actual Space Babies plot, it comes. Well, actually, I think this was more good-humored than I thought it was going to be. The babies were, funny. I did like it, and most of all, the way that the Doctor and Ruby interact with the babies, very cute, very cute. And the overall monster, the creature itself, again, I thought was interesting. It was explained. I did kind of see a bit of it coming, but if you didn't, then maybe the plot twist was an interesting one. I did think, however, that they did show that monster or that creature in the trailers for the series, and I was up until a point you don't really get a good view of it. there's a lot of like different ways of filming it. But I thought that in the end, only towards the end you get to sort of appreciate that costume and that design in all of it is thing. I did think it was quite funny, like all throughout there was a lot of good humor, a lot of good humor for like Ruby as her first kind of proper trip in the box. And then I was thinking about other companions' first trips in the box and thinking like, okay, as far as first trips go, there's some funny things that happen to Ruby in this one. But overall, I think this episode suffers because of the info drop at the beginning, and it's quite jarring. And at the beginning of the episode, I was like, okay, I understand why there needs to be this information, but for me, it's like the episode begins when they meet the space babies, and then that's when the episode begins, and then the pace slows down. You kind of, the story gets told. So let me know what you thought specifically of the beginning. So that was there's not much more I can do without going into spoilers, but if you haven't seen it, go check out the episode, come back, watch my spoiler verdict as I go on through and discuss the episode. There is some setup for what I imagine is going to be like the finale of the series, which I'm going to go through, and stay tuned for my overall score. So, space babies. Yeah, I think that like all of the, like, here's your spoiler warning, and I'm going to go into spoiler territory now. So, Space Babies starts off like almost immediately, almost with a replay actually of the end of Church of Ruby Road, where you have Ruby like entering into the TARDIS, the Doctor saying, "I'm the Doctor." So it kind of starts with this kind of slow opening, but then like they do a really first quick trip into to see the dinosaurs 150 million years ago. You got Ruby stepping on a butterfly, changing her future and stuff like that. Then the Doctor fixing that by saving the butterfly. Again, things that are setting up like more things in the future. That time is actually like kind of fragile now, and like even the slightest change can have a big impact. But then like basically they go through all the basics like super quickly. Last of the Time Lords, Gallifrey's gone, Time Lords gone. What is it? They have to introduce TARDIS translation. I just felt like the first 10 minutes of the episode, there's so many questions from Ruby that the Doctor has to answer like super quickly, so that the Space Babies story can actually begin. And then you got like the TARDIS, time and space, and then you got like landing and things like that. So all of the stuff that is like, even the super phone, when he sonics the phone at some point, like, and he's like, this will give you signal and it can, call your mum back home. This has all been done already. Like, if you've been watching the show for a while, you've seen this before. And so all of these things are super like dealt with really quickly. And Ruby never, in Ruby Road, in the Church of Ruby Road, Ruby never asks like, who are you, like, or it's never answered by the Doctor. So all of these things are super fast answered in the first 10 minutes. Then when the babies appear, it starts to get a bit lighter. I think it starts to get like a lot more funny. Like the music picks up in this sort of like funny music as you see all these odd babies speaking like normal people, but in like space prams and like space station, and the space captain baby, So I think at this point, like, that you start to think, okay, we're in the proper story of this episode now. And I loved seeing the Doctor and Ruby interact with these babies like babies. I thought it was super cute. Sort of like it, like he didn't speak to them like normal people. They're always speaking to like they're babies, and you've got like super cute baby dialogue, like saying "I love you, Ruby Sunday" and that kind of things, and then of course that baby being brave because it wants to make Ruby proud of it, going to fight the monster by itself. I just thought this was really fun. It's different. The episode title is called Space Babies, and I was like, okay, this is a strange title, but the premise is that Space Babies, and yeah, pretty much. That's it up until a point. That's the whole point of the story, and you have to understand the mystery of where this monster come from, and like things like things like that. This monster is chasing the Doctor and Ruby. It's like, and you never get a good look at it. The babies are scared of it, and what's the reason for that. And there's so much comedy in this. I can't tell you, like, activate nose blow and stuff like that, and then at the end, the the nappies powering the ship, that, all of this stuff is like good humored, like, fun. But then you have this monster, and I was like, okay, the monster, which kind of looks like a Demogorgon from Stranger Things. We'd seen this like dark corridors in the trailer, this creepy like long fingers, and I was like, okay, interesting looking monster. I actually did think that maybe the whole space babies thing was gonna be kind of like almost a throwaway or a red herring, and the focus would be like a super scary monster, like dark corridors and things like that. But in the end, the creature itself for most of the episode is like hidden away. Like there's a lot of like sort of security camera footage of the monster, and there's a lot of like the monster hiding just behind a corner before you can kind of see it. So yeah, you don't actually see it a lot until the end. And then you find out that like it's actually made of the bogies of the baby, which I did see coming as like it's called the Bogeyman, and then like when you see them blow the nose and it gets taken away somewhere, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be made of that. But then like it was funny. It made for some good comedy, like with Ruby, like poor thing getting like on the first trip in the TARDIS get covered in it, like oh my gosh, it was made for it, and the Doctor's just like laughing at this, like it was just, yeah, I just thought it was fun, but then there was these other things. Okay, so the bogeyman was actually one of the babies, if you want. Like the machine made it, and then the Doctor tries to save it as well, and like it's clawing on with his long claws, and you get this really cool ending sequence when the Doctor has to like break into the airlock, and close it manually. Really cool. And then like you can see like all bits of the bogies falling off the monster into space. I just thought it was really cool. But then you had some twists, like some setup for Ruby's story. You have the snow falling in the spaceship. So as they start to think about, again, more coincidences, you have like the babies, like lots of babies surrounding Ruby, and then you have like the story of like not knowing where you come from, and then there's even flashbacks to the church on Ruby Road where the Doctor is there, and very interestingly, as this kind of memory comes back, there's like snow on the spaceship and the memory changes. Now all of a sudden Ruby's mum, hooded in the snow, turns around and points at the Doctor, which is like really interesting. And then the Doctor kind of has this as a warning, almost like the snow is a warning that like you cannot go back to the church on Ruby Road and find out who your mother is, because timeline is fragile and stuff like that. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. It builds the mystery quite well. I'm still wondering who Ruby's mother is, but I do think I have my own theory. If you follow me on Twitter or X, you can see I posted out my predictions of all the various characters before the series aired. But yeah, I can maybe go into that in the comment section. But yeah, the fact that this memory has now changed, or maybe that's what it always was. The Doctor was out in the church on Ruby Road. Maybe Ruby's mother did see the Doctor, actually did, and that what we're seeing when she's pointing is actually what happened. We'll see. We'll never know. Like, well, we'll find out for sure. So definitely builds mystery to that sort of story arc. So I'm excited to see how that pans out. And then, yeah, all together, first trip in the TARDIS done. Fairly, straightforward. If you're new to the show, this is it. The TARDIS lands somewhere, and you got probably a monster, probably something unusual, or something, something different every week. So if you're new to the show, and this was like one of your first episodes, let me know what you thought. It can be wild and weird and wonderful, this show. So let me know what you think. Personally, for this episode, I didn't have much of a problem with the Space Babies theming and stuff in the end. My biggest problem was the info dump at the beginning of the episode. Like, for me, and for other viewers who have been in the show for ages, you can, like, you take this for granted. You already are aware of this. If you're new, let me know if it was helpful for you, because to me, watching it felt like so much information so quickly. So maybe even that was still, maybe you, as a new viewer, you would be like, okay, I need to rewatch all of that. And then it gives you a little bit less time then for the whole Space Baby story. So I think for this, what am I going to score? Overall, I think this is it. It's kind of like the info dump followed by the actual story, which I like the actual story. The info dump was maybe too much at the beginning. Maybe it could have been like spread out over the series. Maybe have a little bit more of a pace, like of Ruby finding out things sort of more naturally as it goes along. But yeah, overall I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun. There was some good humor in there. Ncuti and Millie were great. Again, with acting with these babies. So yeah, I did enjoy it. So let me know what you guys think. I think because of the info dump, I'm gonna have to score it a 7. I think, just because it feels like very split. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave comments down below what you think, your theories. If you're watching at midnight, let me know. I want to know if you're like me, or if you're catching up. Just let me know what your schedule is for watching Doctor Who now. I'm very curious. And if you're watching on Disney Plus worldwide, and this show is brand new to you, let me know. Welcome to the show. I really want to know what you think, and let me know your theories and things like that. So yeah, that's all I got time for. Stay tuned. If you haven't already seen the next episode, click onto the next video, which I'm about to post, which is the Devil's Cord. So yeah, so once again, click like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm hoping to do this every week as the episode airs, as I always do, so we can have discussions throughout the whole season in the comment section. So with all that said and done, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.